please, please, please do not be afraid to fail. You know what I mean? And fuck other people's opinions if that's the main thing you're worried about.
Who the fuck you wanna be? Like I am what I am, I'm just saying. Homie, this is me. If only you could see, this is who I am, man. Understand? You can choose to be who the fuck you wanna be.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. Today I just wanted to jump on, make a quick little episode, kind of give people a little friendly reminder, I guess. And once again, with a lot of these things that I talk about, it relates to everyone. You know, this can have a lot of value to everyone, but I'm just going to specifically direct it at artists. Embracing the hardships, embracing the mistakes, like really, really embracing mistakes and not being fearful of them. There's such a big misconception of like failing and making mistakes, I think, in our society. And specifically, this is going to really relate to artists. I think a lot of artists fear the whole concept of making mistakes and things fucking up and, you know, trying new things and failing because of judgment from other people's opinions, maybe, or just, you know, self-doubt. There's many things that can kind of be the cause to that. But I just really want to remind people that every successful person, every great artist, you know, who's ever made a great career out of their music and stuff like that, have had to go down this road and have had to experience these, you know, fuck ups, these mistakes, these failures. And it's such a cliche topic as well. It really is a cliche topic, but people still really don't understand that concept. Yeah, like, I don't know what it is, man. Like, I just don't understand that mindset, because you literally have to dive into the deep end to know what it's like to drown. You know what I mean? Like, the fear of failing and the fear of trying new things because you're afraid to fail, it's just crazy, because if you have that mindset, you're literally never going to achieve the level of greatness and success that you want to achieve. You have to experience and you have to learn. It's the only way you can learn, is by experiencing. There's so many different things, like topics within this, that I can talk about. But I just kind of want to use some examples, you know, from our journey and even relating to JC, just to really put it into perspective for you guys. You know, we've been doing this for 2 years now, independently, and everything we've done from the get-go, we've been accountable for, and we've really been aware of that. And we have had no fear whatsoever in trying anything and everything. We've never had a doubt in our minds, never a fear of anything. We've just known that to get to where we want to get, we need to do, and we need to try, and we need to do, we need to reevaluate, we need to do. And you really need to have that mentality to really take those steps forward. So there's one story that one experience that really sticks home with me, and I think that we'll all remember. It was a very important lesson for us, and this was about, I'm going to say, maybe over a year ago. So JC and DJ Red Wolf had a gig at one of the local venues in Perth. And, you know, this is when we were hustling a lot of shows last year. And it was, we were really early in the stages of, you know, performing out and about in the town and really networking and getting Jay's exposure out and about. And, they had this gig on one night, right? And I think they were the final act. It was like it was a couple acts on there. And I think he was the last one on. So we're chilling before the show. Everything's all sweet, you know, everything's all good. They've been rehearsing. They're all ready to go. And we're actually outside, like just down the road or whatnot. Just hanging with a couple of the 6K boys. And, you know, we're chilling and we're having a few beers. And, like, the boys, they've, you know, every now and again, they'll have a beer or two before a show. You know, that's nothing crazy. That's nothing new. But one of the 6K boys, you know, pulls out a pipe or whatever and starts, like, smoking up some weed. We're all cool with that. Like, it's not like we don't smoke weed. You know, we don't do it often. But, you know, it's not something that we're shy to do. And, it was one of those moments where it was there, and the boys decided to have some and decided to take a hit. And now, to put it into perspective, like I said, we don't smoke that often. None of us do. You know, it's not like we're actually conditioned to weed as much per se as other people are. Anyway, we get back to the venue, and then, like, you know, 30 minutes or 40 minutes pass, and then we're all kind of realizing, okay, the boys are actually on soon. And we're all looking at each other, and I think even I had it. Yeah, I think even I had some. And so that's why I was super self-aware of this situation. And we're all looking at each other, and we're kind of all, you know, no one said anything, but we're looking at each other like, fuck, man, I'm really high right now. Are you really high? Like, it was one of those things, because I knew I was super high, and I was looking at them like, fuck, they must be blazed as hell as well. And then it was really that kind of, I don't know, there was this bit of a build up in everyone, like a bit of that fear of like, fuck, a bit of anxiety started picking up. So yeah, long story short anyway, like, so they went on stage, like 10 minutes passed, they went on stage and essentially just cooked their performance. Like, it was a hilarious, at the time it wasn't funny, but as you look back on it, it's just a lesson learned. And, you know, we could have, like, the boys especially, because it's them on stage, you know, they knew they fucked up. They knew it was a very big lesson learned. But we could have easily have, you know, dwelled on that. They had a show the next night as well. You know, they could have very well easily have dwelled on that and, you know, been embarrassed and just started worrying and getting tripped out in their egos. Like, what did everyone think? Like, you know, there was people there. Like, everyone would have known. Like, they cooked it. Like, it was a fucking hilarious performance. And you know what they did? They just reversed that. They just went, all right, we fucking cooked it. We learned from our mistake. The next night at the next show, they fucking just blitzed it in front of like 100 more people anyway. And it was just, it's just one of those situations, you know, it really comes down to your perspective on failures and your perspective on mistakes. And I really, really just want to reiterate that to artists, that you cannot be afraid to make mistakes. You know, it's those fuck ups at small shows. You know, it's the struggles at those small shows and the mistakes that you make that give you the experience, that allow you to become a better version of yourself as an artist, as a human in general. So you can never be fearful. And obviously, like, you got to put it into context. Like, obviously we never want to actually fail. Like, for another example, like when we were running events last year and stuff like that, you know, we've hosted a couple events, just gone and done it, and just done it with emotion. And, you know, it was only in those moments, you know, I was never once thinking like, oh, you know, I'm going to learn some mistakes. You know, I'm going to have some failures tonight. I'm going to learn from them. Of course not. That's never the mentality. The mentality is I'm going to crush this and I'm going to ace it 100%. It's just when the failures do happen and when the mistakes do come, you just overcome that. You know, you overcome the adversity, you learn from it, and you evaluate. And you don't dwell. You don't dwell and you don't beat yourself up, because everything's a learning process. So yeah, that's another example. You know, we've ran events and stuff like that. I remember doing those things and just not having a clue of what to do, but we did them. And we learned from that. And there's so many examples that I could just name, but, you know, just as an artist, man, just do not be afraid to try things. You are never going to be a good version of yourself if you don't try shit. And this is one thing I stress for all artists, even if you are signed. You know, this is even more so for the artists who are independent, because they're going to have to be doing a lot more DIY shit. They're going to have to be doing a lot more hands-on shit. And that is when you learn the most. You know, it's that entrepreneur hustle. It's the same thing at the entrepreneur hustle. You got to do it yourself. You're going in the deep end. You're learning from those mistakes. Yeah, look, just a friendly reminder for all artists out there. Please, please, please do not be afraid to fail. You know what I mean? And fuck other people's opinions if that's the main thing you're worried about. Just when these mistakes and failures happen, learn from them. Be fucking grateful for these experiences. I am so fucking grateful for the amount of times that we have done something wrong, the amount of times that we fucked up, the amount of times that shit got so stressful and we struggled through. But we always came out on top because we knew this perspective. We understood that we had to go through these struggles to become the best versions of ourselves and to be where we're at today. You know, you're never who you are in the present moment if it wasn't for your past experiences. Don't stress over shit, man. Embrace the fails. Embrace the mistakes. And just own you. Tap into that best version of yourself. Thank you guys. Appreciate you watching. Big love. And I will see you all on the next episode. Peace.
Monday come around, she on a calm now, but she told me she never popped a pill. I said